Welcome to episode 8 of Behind the Horror with Brown Man Horror. We are here today with the cast and crew of Death Sentences, another title for midnight releasing in Samera Entertainment. Big shout out to you, Miss Shari. Thank you so much for hooking us up with these guys. We're so excited to get into this conversation and talk to these great people. Going around, let's do some introductions. We have our writer-director, Mr. Joe Leone, or Leone.
Yeah, as my grandfather would say, it's not telephony.
Oh, wow. You know, all right.
Get
it right or pay the price.
Right. So,
yeah,
and then we have, we're going to go with RC.
Yeah. Hi.
She's the ghost with the most.
Right. We're gonna. She's a talker, folks. She's a talker. Yep. Okay. And then we have, who's our last one?
Miss Remi.
Remi Eve. Remi Eve. Are we gonna go by Remi?
Yeah, you can just right? Yeah. So my actual name is Remiara Eve, but I understand that that's hard, so you can just go by Remi.
Okay. Fantastic.
Sweet. Who are they, JC? Who are they?
Who they is? Well. So we've got Joe. He's going to be our actor and director for this awesome film called Death Sentences that we just watched today. And we're reviewing with the cast and crew tonight. We also have Remi Eve. She plays the character of Arabella. She is our star. She is our writer. She's our heroine. And then we've got RC. She plays Vivian Del Corte. And,
we're fixing to find out. We're fixing to find out all about her because I have
we don't want to give too much away here, but let's just say it's a paranormal type experience for this writer out in the middle of the woods here.
Yeah, for sure. So, guys, while we got you here sitting still, real quick, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Joe, we can start with you and just kind of round table. Obviously, this was your baby, but how did you get into filmmaking, writing, things like that? What have you done before? Where are we going?
They're great questions. So I come from a theater background, actually. I went to school for acting and directing theater, and then I moved right to the city, and I was working as a stage actor for a while, and I was also doing a lot of writing for sketch comedy. I'm funny. I forgot to tell you guys. That's actually... That's a line in the movie that I say all the time in real life. Anyway, so then I actually, one of my good friends who's a great horror writer, he's just a great writer in general, he got me into screenwriting, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And this was, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, and it just went from there. I just was writing up a storm. I have a horror background. My mother's big into Halloween. We have like a big Halloween thing every year. And so, I was raised on horror movies. So it's kind of the two go hand in hand. And then just real quick, writing for other people, for other productions for years and years, or, trying to get stuff made, it's very challenging, and it's a lot of waiting around and whatnot. And so just a couple of years ago, I was like, I'm tired of all the waiting, so I'm just going to start, producing my own stuff on the low to zero budget scale, and
on the volunteer scale.
Yeah, and it's been it's actually been like one of the most rewarding and fun, and definitely one of the most fun things I've done. So that's
for sure.
My idea.
Well, very cool. We're obviously huge into horror films, but my anniversary is actually on Halloween, so
ooh, nice.
That's awesome.
It's real fun around here around Halloween time.
RL, who officiated your wedding?
It was you, JC. You officiated my wedding.
Me?
So many
Halloween.
It's amazing what you can do. It's amazing what you can do online in less than 6 minutes and $50. Like, it's crazy.
Exactly.
All right. So, Miss RC, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you got involved in the film and kind of where you're headed.
Well, my name is Arselajda Buraku. I am from Albania, born and raised. I've been in New York for the past almost 8 years. I'm an immigrant. I'm a refugee. I'm a political refugee. And I used to be a folk dancer, an Albanian traditional dancer, while growing up. But I was never allowed to watch horror movies. So yeah.
It's tragic.
So my mom did not let me watch horror movies, and I used to just sneak and just try to like watch a horror movie, like Italian horror, like classic horror movies, with like a low volume. It should always be there and scare me. It should call my name, Lida. It'd be right there, and I would freak out. So I actually always wanted to like at least do something on a horror movie, and I'm so glad that I was part of this project, and I cannot wait to see the final project.
Sweet. And Remi, take us home. You are the main actress in this film. How did you kind of get involved in this film, and what have you done before?
Okay, so my name is Remiara Eve. 26. I'm actually from Jersey. It's actually really funny that I am a horror movie actress because growing up, I was deathly afraid of anything scary. Like I didn't, like Six Flags, how they have like that Horror Fest week or whatever in October. Yeah, I would go there and I would be the one that had like those like safety whistles. I was like 16 years old and I was like blowing on those whistles, scared shitless. I would literally just cry, like literally cry. Afraid of my own shadow, afraid of the dark. But I got into acting, and honestly, it wasn't one of the first things I did, but I believe Joe had actually reached out to me for another movie that I didn't end up getting, but that's fine because I ended up filming something in Jamaica that's not out yet. It's like a sci-fi movie called As Gaia. Pretty sure it's supposed to be going on big platforms, but it's still in CGI. So I kind of was like starting out in the sci-fi realm. That was like the vibes that I was, going for, and I'm still super into. And then I just fell in love with horror films. I think I did one scene for Joe in his what was it called? I forget the name of it.
Yeah. Blood Falls,
yeah.
the witch movie.
Blood Falls, right. And I played the one scene, and then honestly, I came there and I had this whole like background first, like for this like one little scene, and then Joe was just like, all right, I love you. And we did a bunch of films together. And so when he actually sent me the script, Joe usually sends me scripts and he's like, hey, like, I think you can heard for this. And I think he wanted me to read for Vivian actually. And I read the script and I was like, no, like I need Arabella. Like I feel connected to her. And that's kind of how I got this. But honestly, like I have always been obsessed with the occult in my later years, like looking up into like just anything that's like, I would say like creepy or weird or whatever. I look into it, like ghosts and stuff. I'm super into it now, which is why it's like crazy. But yeah, so that's how I did that. And then we did Death Sentences, and I haven't seen the actual full film yet. So I'm excited to see the finished project. I see that you guys did.
It was very good.
I'm like, what the heck?
It was very good. We have the inside track over here.
Right.
Like,
what the heck?
It's crazy.
We'll talk afterward about what happened in the movie.
Right. Yeah. So you have to tell me what happens.
Should have sent her the cliff notes.
Right. Honestly, and to be honest with you, anything that Joe does, in the future, now, whatever, I am always really, really like adamant on being a part of it. I almost feel like he's like Quentin Tarantino and I'm like Uma Thurman, because we constantly do films together, but I just feel like we just have really good chemistry. And when I'm on set with Joe, I feel really comfortable. And that's super important to me when I decide who I'm going to work with, because I've turned like other bigger projects down because I just genuinely don't have the energy or the vibe that I feel like I would want to work with. And so that's kind of like how I pick things. And honestly, I don't know, I'm the type of person where like I want to grow with you, so and that's kind of like what the vibe is for me anyway. So yeah.
Very nice.
That's it.
Sweet.
Well, I'll tell you what, the vibes were definitely vibing in Death Sentences. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Like I almost felt like she could do like I feel like we need to do like a female version of Phone Booth, because like she did so much acting by herself in this movie. I'm like, Throw her in a phone booth for like 16 hours in the middle of downtown, like New York or New Jersey, and just see what happens. Like, just see what it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
phone booths are gone now, though, right? Like, they're not a thing.
Kind of like telephone banks.
Maybe an Uber with like a driverless Uber. One of those.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Exactly. It'll be good.
It's like malfunctioning. She can't get out. That's the next movie. Okay.
Well, thank you guys.
I remember being on set or whatever, and then like people, Joe would be like, "All right, guys, like we're starting," and then like RC or the makeup artist would be like, "Oh, are you in this one?" I'm like, "I'm in every single scene. Like I have to go get ready." Like
she's like, "It's just me and this tree over here."
Right.
Like, I'm just waiting on somebody's eyes to like light up in the background. I'm waiting for that little small thing to happen. So I'm like slow-moing the film the whole time. It's crazy. Well, thank you guys for the introductions. I mean, it is great to have you all on here. Just a little background on me and JC. I mean, he had told you a little bit earlier before we got on, just, we're really intrigued by the independent film business right now, especially because you guys are on such a level playing field with everybody else, right? I mean, not everybody's jumping to the theater right now. So it's nice to be able to kind of, promote y'all just as much as they're getting promoted, try to jump out there ahead of it and get some visibility on it. I mean, we've had a ton of good movies on here so far. Death Sentences did not disappoint. Very good flick. We're just hoping to drive home a little bit of, knowledge about you guys, knowledge about the independent film world, maybe give people a little bit of insight on the movie, but not too much. We don't want to deep dive too much in there. And then just kind of let you guys, talk about where do we go from here? What's next, especially with COVID and everything that's happening? Where do you see yourselves going? So we really appreciate it. JC.
Here I am.
Are you ready for some horror movie trivia?
Yeah.
Like I feel like there should be like some music. We don't even have any theme music or anything. It's pretty sad.
We do have a theme song that plays before the actual video on YouTube.
I mean, it's a single guitar riff, but we appreciate it.
It's like down, 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 something like that. I wrote it. I can't sing
it. Jesus Christ. All right. So basically the way this works is we will go around the board and let everybody have a chance to answer one question. If multiple people get it right, we'll go to a tiebreaker, and then essentially bragging rights will be all yours at the end of this game.
All right, let's go first so I can copy all the answers.
Go ahead, JC. Pick somebody. Let's do it.
How about you run as the host, and I'll take Remi on my team, and Joe and RC will be on a team.
Yes.
All right, cool. I don't know any. I'm really bad.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do.
He picked so wrong.
So here's what I'm gonna do.
Never before on Behind the Horror.
So it'd be like Family Feud. The only thing you have to do is put one hand up or cluck like a chicken, whichever one you do first. And your team will get to answer. The first person or first team to 3 will win the match. Are you guys ready?
Yeah,
I'm ready. Let's do it, Remi.
All right, so I'm gonna take it fairly easy on you. So let's start right here. Okay. So on what TV show did Robert Shatner highlight? No, I'm wrong about this. It's not Robert Shatner. It's not Shatner, is it? What's the dude's name?
Robert Stack.
Stack. Well, you already know the answer then.
I know it then. I got it.
Joe raised his hand first. Joe, go ahead, buddy.
If I don't know what the rest of the question is, I think the answer is going to be Unsolved Mysteries, though.
My man, Joe.
Wow.
My man, Joe.
Okay.
You give him the softball right at the gate.
I had to, man. I had to throw something out there for him. I mean,
right.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
It's about to get a little. It's about to get a little bit tougher.
It's gonna get tougher than that. Like, guys, I'm so bad with names. I'm way better if I had like a picture. I could be like, oh my god, yes. But if you say a name, I'm never gonna get it.
Okay. So, I feel like this one's pretty easy. I'll try to do one without a name in it. Let's see what we got here. Okay. I feel like these are too easy. How'd you even get on a team? Like you have all 1 million movies right behind you right now.
Yeah, no, that's my partner. Don't play. I need him.
Exactly.
Just bust them out.
I need him.
Okay. What? Okay. For 1 point, what movie portrays someone being stabbed with a knife in the shower?
Clock.
Remy had her hand up.
Let
No,
me
I
answer.
haven't had it first. Is it Scream?
No.
What?
Steel.
Joe hit me.
Psycho.
It is
Psycho.
Psycho.
Remy.
And for double the points to go ahead and close them out because they just can't seem to get it right tonight. Can you tell me who the actress was in the original Psycho shower scene?
Me?
Whatever, guys.
I know it, Janet. Oh, wait. Oh, he I didn't know.
JC, go ahead.
Oh.
Yes.
Just to keep us in the game, that would be Janet Lee.
That is correct. That is correct,
Personally,
sir.
I
That
have-
is correct.
Right.
Okay.
JC, I'll just be the team mascot. You be the
What movie would you
Okay.
say that you have watched, Remy?
I'm a really big horror fan. What's your favorite horror movie? Oh,
My
like Twilight.
Okay, no, I actually
That was
really
scary
like,
as
I
hell,
really
actually.
like Get Out. I like Get Out.
Yeah, get
That's
out
like a
of
horror
here.
thriller. That's like the type I
Okay.
love.
Stay with me.
You can also say either of the Parched series.
Can I-
Right.
Can I maybe
Death
ask for my
Sentence is
favorite
actually
horror?
my favorite horror movie. It's so crazy.
Okay.
So weird. If I just stay silent, then maybe you guys won't know that I don't know like a lot of horror movie trivia. Like
In the movie, Get Out.
oh god. Come on.
It starred the dad of the family. His name was Dean Armitage in the movie.
Right.
His name is also Bradley Whitford,
Oh, I knew
but good call. In what Hulu show does he also
that.
star?
Oh, I got it. Handmaid's Tale.
And that is correct, Joe.
Okay,
That
Joe,
is
you didn't let me
correct.
answer. I actually knew that one.
Well, you didn't have your hand up. He definitely didn't cluck. I didn't get any clucking.
I heard no clucking. I heard no hand raising.
Where is RC at?
I see. I
Yeah,
have
right.
no
Let's
idea
pick on
one of
RC.
these movies. I
Mercy
don't
told you,
know
she was
these
like, I
movies.
wasn't even allowed to watch a freaking horror
No,
movie. Now
actually,
you guys are busting on me.
RC knows like the Italian horror directors. She knows some like old school
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
No, I don't
Here
know
with
none of
Fulci.
these. Like I
You
love
are-
Deep Red by like Lucio Fulci or
Okay.
Dario Argento. You know, Italian. I'm not good with American horror, so I'm
She
gonna
definitely
out
said-
this game.
I mean,
She
that's
said
a-
Deep
Scooby-Doo.
Red.
I actually like
That's
the Scooby-Doo
right.
horror
I'm just taking
movies.
a break. I'm letting
Speaking-
Joe answer questions.
Well, speaking
Wow.
of Italian horror and mood and atmosphere, I think that's a great segue into. We really weren't talking about that, but I think it's a great segue still to go into talking about death sentences.
Death sentences.
God,
It's pretty good.
I mean,
I
we
like
kick
it.
off
As
with
long
a-
as we say that my team won, we can move on.
Yeah, you won, Remy.
Sure, we'll put it in the notes. Okay,
Yeah.
so we kick it off with a long winding road, kind of like that song. Every day is a winding road, but it kicks off
is.
it kicks off in death sentences that way for damn sure.
Mhm.
For a split second, I thought I was taken back to a Kubrick film of The Shining fame. I loved it. Thank you, Joe. I really love that homage there. I don't know if you meant to do that or not, but I loved it
Okay,
anyway.
I'm very familiar
Oh.
with that. Yeah.
Joe, you had me going throughout the whole thing. I didn't know if I was going to be kind of in Shining territory here or, I Spit on Your Grave or Secret Window or what, but you pulled out something original still there at the end, and I really appreciate it, man.
Well, I'm glad you stuck with it and made it through the whole thing. Because I mean, there's a lot of red herrings in there. Like that was a goal, was I even had some. Like I mean, she even has that line about The Shining in there. I was just trying to like
Mhm.
get people going in all different directions because we were just trying to, we're trying to work with what we had, which is just very little, and so we tried to like make the best of what we had, utilizing the story and But I mean, these two did such a good job that I think they just carry the movie. So
They knocked it out of the park for sure.
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out to me the most is I definitely, when, I can say for a fact that I've seen a million horror movies. When they're in the woods, bad things happen, and you got just shit popping out of everywhere, right? Like, there's this person's over here and you got to wait for this person over there. And I think I liked the clarity of this film a lot. Like, yeah. I didn't get simple a whole story, lot of like, cast. Yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of mucked up, like, just like, like I was telling y'all before we even got started, like, I'm sitting there and she's in the woods and she's about to, whether it was the yoga scene or whatever, like, I'm watching it and I'm sitting there thinking, like, looking at that tree, is that tree big enough for somebody to hide behind? I'm looking over here and like nothing ever happens. And I'm like, JC, like, I must have missed it. Like, I'm going to go back and watch it again. And
I'm like that with you. I thought this was totally going to turn into, some kind of female vengeance film. And it didn't. And thank God, because it's been done several times.
Yep. No, I loved it. It was good. Like I said, I like the simplicity of it. Sometimes, understated is the best way to go. Like, we've even seen some independent films where it's been real over the top. They're trying really, really hard to get a point across when a simple
explanations.
Yeah, a simple 5-minute dialogue would have got us there, not 100 minutes of whatever. So I loved the movie. I thought it was really good. You guys knocked it out of the park. But what do you guys think was probably obviously, Joe, the budget was the hardest part for you. We've already heard your status on this, but what do you guys think were some of the pain points of the film? How long did it take to film? What were some of the tougher moments?
I think that filming anywhere, especially when it's an independent film, you kind of have to go like where you can go. There was a lot of like yard work or construction that was like going on while we were filming, and so we have to be like, all right, wait for the hacksaw to shut off because that's not like a part of the scene. And then we would have to reshoot it, or just be like, Joe would be like, just wait, hold, there's an airplane, or like, you know what I mean? Right. I think that was definitely a difficulty. But as an actress and an actor, and you're never going to be on set that's going to go perfectly, and sure. So you have to be prepared for hiccups. You have to be prepared for breaks or time slots where it's like, okay, we can't film this anymore in this hour, like we have to shove this in, so get ready, get in a different outfit, go, because we're already missing the light, or it's too loud, now we have to film like silent stuff. So I think that was the most difficult. But at the same time, I feel like for me, I don't know, and Joe, you can piggyback off this, but I feel like I thrive in chaos. Like, I love when it's busy, everything's going, we got to keep moving. I just think that it's easier to stay in character, one, but also it's just the craziness on set. I mean, it brings me joy. I mean, like, obviously being this amazing character was a beautiful experience, but also getting to meet different people from different backgrounds and working with them, the craziness of how does it work? How are you going to move this and that? I think that also really excites me, especially on new projects when you meet new people like RC. I love her. We are now super close friends, literally. But I think that is definitely a difficult thing.
RC, what about you?
Well, that Sentences is my first film.
Yay.
Yeah,
exactly.
Let's go.
But not our first
so
acting.
I had to transition from like a theater school and a theater company to on screen for the first time. It was COVID. That was one of the hardest things, because right when I got the email from Joe that I was going to send a self-tape, that was COVID time. So I ended up not even I was like, maybe this is never going to happen. That's what I thought. I never even replied back. I was like, I suck at emails. And then
you did a great job with ours. We appreciate it.
Joe, like around summertime, like around June, he was like, hey, like, are you still interested into like working on this project? And I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, yeah. And then I had a script. I had to memorize the script, you know, and for me to be on screen and have like a very scary character, it was really challenging. So that was something really like really hard at first, just for me to like immerse myself into a character who was a ghost, even though like I always grew up with like the Book of Shadows or like scary stuff and scary witchy crafts. But this was like really challenging because I had to switch a lot in my character. I had to be sweet and mean and unpredictable and scary and creepy at the same time. So yeah, that was really challenging. And Joe was being very helpful with directions and stuff. You know, I'm not even native speaker. You know, we had to come up with a story that I actually spend some years in Europe. You know, even for like someone who just started, like an international actor, it's really, you know, difficult to to audition for a lot of roles. Like I cannot audition for Sarah whatever, like an American last name, because my accent is so obvious.
Sarah Smith.
Right.
Sarah Smith or Sarah Jackson or whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
you did amazing. You did so
Yeah.
good.
I
Babe.
really tried, you know, I really tried, and I'm really proud to use this project for future opportunities, and that makes me really happy.
Awesome.
Joe, what'd you think of these two?
First, let me just say, to piggyback on what Remi said before, back when I used to be just an actor, I had the same exact mentality where like the more things were going wrong, the more fun I was having, the more I was like using that energy. When you're a producer, that is not fun. When things are going wrong, it's the opposite of fun. It's a nightmare scenario, and you want to die. So it's a little. And in this, I typically don't act in the movies that I direct because it's just you know your focus is all over the place. These people who do it like although people who do it on like a big scale movie, I feel like they have like tons.
Well, there's 19 directors on those
Right.
films.
Joe was everything.
Right.
Stylist, makeup artist.
Yeah, those opening credits are up. They're a son of a bitch these days.
But he was the one who was like adding more stuff in there and like
So I mean,
adding more spice, you know.
But I would say, the biggest challenge actually for me was to act and then also be in it, just because of those like constraints and because of the situation. But I will say, to talk about the both of them, I mean, they're both so great that they're just both so great that I just love working with them. I love like spending the time on set, even when things are going wrong. It's like it's such a good vibe from both of them. Like they have totally different personalities, but so much in common too, that it's really fun. And I will just say, with directing them, it's very interesting to see them both work, because you get like a great final product, I feel, but they have very different approaches to acting. Remi's is like what I think. I studied some studying in England, and her kind of method is like a very kind of like technical, practical method, where it's like, oh, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to say this line, roll, and then she's like does it. And then Arcee is more of another thing I studied in school too. It's more like a method kind of approach, where you're really utilizing all these like real emotions from your past, and you're like bringing them up, and it's a little more of a visceral thing. But then like you put them both in like certain scenes where they're both having like these big emotions. They're both great. So it's fun as a director to like work with people of kind of different approaches and see it come together.
Sure enough. Where'd you guys shoot at? Where was it done at?
Upstate New York in the Catskills. Actually, the place is there's some lines in it in the script that are kind of from my own life, because my father and I used to get a log cabin up in that area that we were at, and that's kind of like the character I'm playing says that. And that's like from real life. So I used to be up there, so the woods, that area is kind of very familiar to me, and I just thought it's like a perfect spot to like Remy's character, she's a writer who's suffering writer's block, so she goes up to like this cabin just to be alone, away from society, so she could focus just on the work. And then, you know,
very Secret Window esque. Like I didn't know what to think, honestly, JC. Like the whole drive up there, she's kind of cutting loose, like, oh yeah, nonchalant, blah 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 blah. And then she gets up there and she still has a bit of writer's block to start. And you're like, I mean, she's about to drop the ball here. That's what's about to happen. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Like the guy's fixing to call her back and give her a good tongue lashing. But then, lo and behold, it was something totally different. So for me, it was awesome. Like I thought that, you know, definitely a new take on a out in the woods type deal where it's not so just in your face all the time, which is really nice. You're able to actually sit back and watch the movie, listen to the dialogue, get the storyline, and then it evolves into something. So that was really cool for me as well.
Nice. I'll just say quick, like, yeah, because it's a real slow burn of a movie, and I know, you know, it's not for everybody. I know, like, even when I was writing the script, I was like, wow, I was like, I wonder how much I can get away with. Oh, RC's cat is there.
What's happening right now?
I was like, I wonder how many pages I can get away without there being any dialogue. Like, how much can I just have this character going through this, like, this block and all the tribulation she's going. I was like, I hope I can, you know, we can make this interesting on
What's crazy is I used to hate movies like that, right? Yeah. Like I used to be a very like, I'm very big into like Jim Carrey and people like that, where it's literally bell to bell with these people action, right? There's a line for everything. And then, you know, I've kind of started watching like different independent films, different types of films. Like probably one of my favorite movies out is Lincoln. And it's like 9 years long and they don't say a lot. So if I can make it through Lincoln, I feel like I can make it through anything. Like it's like watching Gone with the Wind, you know, with no sound. Terrible.
I've never seen Gone with the Wind.
Don't do it. It's not worth it.
He says, don't do it.
Just keep that part of your life, bro. You deserve that. So, you know.
Wait, I wanted to say one thing specifically to Death Sentences. I will say the bugs. That was hard. A lot of the scenes that I had to do all by myself, we had to trek up this like steep ass hill, and there was every single bug you could imagine. Like literally, there'd be times where I'm in the middle of a scene and a bug will just fly in my face, and I'm like, okay, we have to restart. And we had to trek up that hill so many times. Right?
I feel like Joe's next film needs to be in like backwoods, Cedar Hill, Tennessee, so they could see some bugs. 10. Yeah, exactly.
There were so many bugs, and I hate bees. Like that's my one thing. Like I can take on a spider, I'll take on a shark. I don't care. I'll take on a lion. But if you throw a bee in there, I'm gonna.
Bees won't sting you unless you mess with them. That's what my mom always said.
Right.
RC, I have a question for RC.
Sorry, my cat was like literally like knocking on the door like in a horror movie. And I was like, wow, so I had to like kind of
sticks the paw under.
I had to let her
in.
Be
apart, for sure.
It was
right?
frightening. It was scary. I had to let her in, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, you gotta go.
I'm dead.
It's no secret that RC played our Spectre in this film. RC, you want to tell us a little bit about your makeup process and getting prepared in character on set? Did you do your makeup, or did someone else do it?
Solange did. Yeah, she's really cool and she's really talented.
It looked good. Your first appearance definitely made me jump for sure. But that was due in part to the music as well. We had a good little James Wan jump scare there for a quick second.
Yeah,
so I appreciate it. And that's one of the things I like about these independent films that we've been doing. RL, the level of effort that's being put into them is just as good as your blockbusters, if not better. I think most of the independent films that we've reviewed and watched don't insult the watcher's intelligence, which I like a whole lot.
Exactly.
I don't really have an example for that. It's kind of one of those things you have to kind of just watch, and our viewers, they know exactly what we're talking about. You know, as RL stated earlier, there's no reason to bombard the screen with so many lines of dialogue. You know, let the story tell itself. Hold back some, and I think you'll have a better film, and definitely one that a couple of guys like us will want to watch and review. Um, with death sentences, I feel like there wasn't any unused. I mean, it's an independent film. Hey, we get it. Low budget. I get that. But one thing I can say for sure is there's not any unused space. That's what I felt like. There was no unused space.
Well, too, JC, one of the things that is nice about a film like this is a lot of times if I'm watching, like, let's say I'm watching, I don't know, Hunt for Red October, and there's 900 people in a submarine, but yet I can hear these two people talking to each other like as clear as day. Now that's cool that they can block out the background noise and like really take that conversation and kind of offset it. In some films that works, but when you're out in a film filming by yourself in nature, like, I want to hear it all. Like, I want to hear the bugs flap, and I want to hear the birds chirp, and I want to hear the plane go over. If you can't stop at that time, that's fine too. But like, I like the fact that we didn't use a ton of effects to deaden background noise or eliminate, imperfections. That's some of the best things about this movie is the fact that it's very raw. Like, this is it. Like, this phone conversation happens now.
Sounds to me like you're saying, well, Joe relied solely on storytelling.
Yeah.
Which is not what a lot of people
How about
do
that?
anymore.
Yeah, how about that?
So we appreciate that, Joe, for sure. Joe, let me ask you a quick question. What would be one of your biggest, so you're writer, director, you did death sentences. We could sit here and let you pat yourself on the back, whatever, and and everything like that. But
you're good at it, Joe.
How would you say what you did might differ from, say, a big blockbuster film? Like, what did you focus most in on this film?
That's a very good question. I think it just comes down to because again, we're shooting in the middle of the pandemic, right? So I was like, I want to play one of the characters, so there's eliminates another actor that's going to potentially infect people. Like, I was like, we need this to be the smallest scaled down thing possible. And just for me, it was just a matter of like, I know I have two really good actors here, and I just need to like get them captured on film. And that's basically it. I had confidence that the story is like, is strong enough that it's interesting enough. But I was like, if I can just get the best performances out of these two, then the movie's gonna work. If I screw up and they're like, and it's not their best, it's not everybody's best, it's gonna be a failure. It's gonna be on the 99-cent bin. So the goal was just to, really just try and get the whole story out and keep the pacing of the film engaging in the beginning, so that when you get to the third act and you get the rewards of the good stuff, then it's worth it.
For sure, man.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just quickly, specifically about like not have like with the bigger budget stuff, it's just like, it's just rather than focusing on this and that. And it's also timing is like, we have to get these shots, like we've got 3, 4, 5 takes max, and then we got to move on. We have the house rented for the weekend. We've got like 5 days total through the whole movie. So it's
Joe's on Groupon, like trying to extend his time there, and he's like, I can get this thing for 2 more days for $37 if we clean it ourselves. Like, we have to clean ourselves.
That's not even a joke. I just had to negotiate with the guy to get 1 more day out of him.
That's the thing. I mean, if you look at films, I mean, don't get me wrong, man. Big films are cool too. Like, we're definitely not taking anything away there. Like, if you can get, 400 actors on screen at one time and it all pan out and look the way it's supposed to, that's impressive. Don't get me wrong.
Hell yeah.
I get it. But, for me, like, I think, when you think about it, and one of the things that we talk a ton about on here is that, you guys wear so many different hats when you're filming. It can't just be, oh, Joe's the director, he doesn't do anything else. Like, don't ask him any more questions because he's not going to talk to you. Or, Remi she's in her trailer right now. She'll be out in 45 minutes with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not like that. You get more of that, like, blue collar, I worked for this film. And not to say other people don't, but you can tell that you guys work hard at it as well to kind of, get that final project done. And then it just makes it worth so much more to you, when you're putting that kind of effort in. So,
well, there was another little film that came out that was shot like this, micro budget for the time with, no name actors, and, they spent their biggest budget on somebody that was an actor that gave them a little clout. 1978, a little film by the name of Halloween that was went on to be the highest grossing independent film of all time.
That's
so
dope.
that is always my go-to. We don't know if we're interviewing the cast and crew of the next Halloween. Halloween didn't gain some clout until, years later, until the slasher scene really kicked off in the mid 80s. Then everybody kind of went back and started watching some of this stuff. Your Texas Chainsaws, your what was it? Pieces. That was back in the Texas Chainsaw movie. Summer Party Massacres. The list goes on and on and on. We don't know if who we're interviewing, like I said, is the next Halloween, the next John Carpenter, the next Jamie Lee Curtis. We don't know. But I know back then, people were having the conversation that they're having now. Bunch of friends, bunch of people that each other knew, got together to make a horror movie, didn't know what was going to happen, but they got together and made it and got it done. That's exactly what's happening here. And every time that we sit down with Behind the Horror and do these interviews.
Right.
So that's what keeps me excited week after week after week, that Brown Mint Horror might be talking to the people that are going to produce the next great independent film that's going to become a cult classic.
Right. And I love that. That's actually something that I also take into consideration. It's never about the budget of the film. I think the new ideas are coming from independent filmmakers. And I also think that because of social media and the way that it works, it's given them more of a voice and more of a way to get their independent films out, and I love that you said that, because that's beautiful.
Well, I would say me coming from a Southeast European country where the cinematography was not as the Western one. It was more like low budget, not too much. There was not such a box office idea in there. It was just like telling a story, maybe even against a regime or a communism regime, and it portrayed as something completely else for the audience to understand something else. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's never about like big budget box office. That's why I am more attracted towards the like more European independent stuff than the actual big American movies, that like they're doing so great in theaters and in box office, because the independent stuff, they have real stories, unique, in a very unique, authentic way.
Right.
It's just not the idea to sell. It's more the idea to tell. You know what I mean? It's not to sell,
yes.
it's to tell.
And I think by you saying that, I almost want to start something new tonight. I want to start. RL, what do you think about this? The guests that are on the show have to go around and tell us, obviously they're a part of this independent film circuit and stuff like that. Could everyone go around right now and say one film that they recommend everyone leave tonight and go watch? How about that?
Yeah,
it could preferably horror.
Can I self-promote?
You can self-promote.
Cool.
We're already doing that for you, but you can definitely self-promote extra. But everybody go around and tell us a horror flick that you recommend our viewers go and watch, and we want to watch. Tell us. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Real quick. So I watch at least one horror movie every day, at least, especially since quarantine. I've been like plowing through. I rewatched Halloween. I've just nonstop. I watched this movie the other day, The Dark and the Wicked. It's on Shudder.
Yes!
This movie,
Yeah.
again, I watch so much horror. I never get scared from horror. This movie scared the hell out of me in several moments. I can't tell you. I know generally what the movie's about, what's kind of going on. It's one of my favorite movies I've seen this whole year. Just blew me away. Just like unbelievable.
Fantastic.
So scary, the imagery in this, and the mood, the ambiance, everything. And I mean, I love that actress too. What's her face? Who's the daughter? I mean, like, just a great movie. And then real quick, I know you said just one, but real quick, there's another movie I just want to promote. That it's a very little known movie because it's from Finland, and it's on Shudder. It's called Dogs Don't Wear Pants. And it's really stretching what we think of as horror. It's more of like a body horror kind of movie. It's about a dude who's like I won't get into the whole plot, but he's a surgeon, and he's very like kind of stuck in his own mind, and he like accidentally gets involved in like the world of S&M or SM, BDSM, and it's one of the best movies I think I've ever seen. I actually made my mother watch it recently. She was like, something is wrong.
What was it called? What was it called?
It's called Dogs Don't Wear Pants. And I stalked the lead actress on Instagram. I'm like always like loving her pictures and whatnot.
Okay.
I love this movie. It's so messed up.
So Joe's two picks, Dogs Don't Wear Pants and The Dark and the Wicked. You can find those on Shudder. We'll put those definitely in the show notes in the description for sure. And I think this is going to be a great thing to add it in addition to Behind the Horror. Thanks, Joe. What about you, Remi?
So I don't know if this is a super independent film or not, but I recently had just watched it and it blew me away. I believe it's actually on Amazon Prime. It's Suspiria. Has anyone seen that?
Yeah.
Which one?
With
The old
Tilda
one?
Swinton.
The new
Hold
okay,
on.
so all right. So the new one, I with the girl from 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know
Suspiria.
what I'm talking about? Right.
Dakota
Okay. So
Johnson.
I watched that and it literally blew me away. And like that, I forgot that is probably like one of my favorite horror movies. And then I believe the name of another one is Three Mothers. It's about I don't know if that's exactly the name, but it's about this girl who she like lives in this hotel or she's like studying or whatever.
It's Argento. It's an
Is that what-
Argento film.
Is that what it's called? And she like she like tries to like research it. She like dives underwater. There's like a whole room underwater. There's like a skull under there. Does anybody know what I'm talking about or no?
Three
I'm trying to
Mothers.
see. I'm trying to see. So it's a film trilogy.
I don't know if it's I don't know too much about it. I can't remember the name. I just remember it really creeped me out. And the guy next door like owns like I don't know if it's like a bookshop.
But it's like
It
an
appears
old.
to be
It's an
a
old
film
movie.
trilogy.
Yeah, it's an old movie.
Yeah. It's got to be one of those three then that she saw.
And they're all
It's Argento.
they're all Argento films. So
Right, then that's it. Yeah,
that's
Okay.
Quality stuff.
That's pretty awesome.
I
Absolutely.
saw that when I was like, holy cow! I was like, okay, this is fucking good.
RC is over here chomping at the bit.
Yeah,
RC, tell us.
no, I was actually thinking because I was just gonna say a movie from Dario Argento, Deep Red. That's one of my I would say one of my favorite movies.
Are you the one that showed me that, RC? The movie I'm talking about?
Are you talking about Deep Red?
I don't know if that's the name of it. I can't remember. I'm not
We're
good.
talking a lot of Deep Red. I have never seen it.
Movie.
Really?
But Deep Red is like it has like a story of a killer, someone who like and a lady that gets killed in the hotel room in Italy, and then she can read people's
And then
minds.
and then the brother comes. That's the one I'm talking about.
Well, I don't know. There's a bunch of
Okay,
stories.
good. Never mind.
Okay.
We got a couple Argento films right here.
But
Little
one of these, like
neat-
Deep Red, is from Argento.
It is.
A movie that I would love you guys to watch. It's really, I love the set, the decor in there, the way that he does the contrast on on visual on screen, and I always love his contrast, like the way he like things of he has like very like southern European visuals, and he brings them in horror, like those classy, things that we as Europeans actually get scared the most, Now like it's just more of like some mythology, like part of mythology stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like that, yeah. And and also Mandy with Nicolas Cage. From this.
Oh my God, I got that over here too.
Right. We saw that. RC showed me that. It's really scary.
What was it?
Mandy. It's on Shudder. It's like
We need to make that our next movie night, RL.
psychedelic.
The director is
insanity.
Panos. He's like this Greek director from Canada. I think it was the Nicolas Cage best performance. That's for
Elijah
sure.
Wood was one of the
Right.
producers.
Yeah, it was cool because it's very psychedelic and the music with the visuals it's so synchronized with one another. I'm just like, I wasn't watching it like, oh my God, like another person would, like a normal person watch a movie. I was more like trying to understand the lightning. I'm like, how did he get that? How did he get that? How, you know what I mean? So it's really interesting.
Got it.
Nice.
Well,
Well,
that was good. That was good. Yeah, definitely. I recommend
notes have been
Mandy too.
made.
Mandy, bomb.
All right.
So go ahead, JC. What would you say?
Two that I've seen recently. Well, I mean, definitely death sentences. I mean, I'm not going to be a jerk. I mean, death sentences for sure.
Yay!
What did I watch here recently? I rewatched Sleepaway Camp. So if you haven't seen Sleepaway Camp, it's fantastic. It gets better with age. And it's so funny because when Remi was talking earlier, talking about coming out of Jersey, it made me think of Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. Stars Bruce Springsteen's sister, Pamela Springsteen. They're from Jersey.
Yes.
Sleepaway Camp 2 is a very Jersey vibe.
Right. Rumson. They're from Rumson, right?
The new
Springsteen from Rumson.
I have no idea where they're from. Jersey. I just know they're from Jersey. But yeah, that, and I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend Lucio Fulci's Zombie.
Oh, I've watched Zombie with Lucio Fulci.
Great score. A great score.
Lucio Fulci. Interesting you say that.
What you saying?
Love him.
JC, I can barely hear.
That's so rad. That's so cool.
So, my two were. What about you, RL? What's your two?
So, honestly, like, okay.
So it's Suspiria and Inferno, and they are the Three Mothers trilogy. I have to watch the third one. That's what it is.
Okay.
Inferno.
And it's Mother of Tears, right?
Right.
Is the last one. The trilogy. Yep.
All right, I'll put that down.
So, kind of spinning off what RC said there, like if I had to go with a non-horror film, something that kind of spooked me a little bit, and I was wondering, like, probably one of the best shot films I think I've ever seen is it The Beach or Beach with Leo in it? Is it The Beach?
The Beach. Yeah, The Beach.
So
that's Danny Boyle.
Dude, that.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, bro. Such a good movie. Oh my God.
Like, how have I not seen this? Let's pull this up real quick.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, like you're talking about like somebody going completely mad and losing their mind. Like I didn't think DiCaprio could act at all, honestly, until this film. And then totally different level, man. I mean, this guy was just pretty ridiculous. It was really, really good, actually. I mean, then if I had to go horror movie, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, there's just so many. Like, honestly, I'm huge into just like the original stuff. So, like, any of the old school stuff, Texas Chainsaw. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the original It with John Ritter and all those folks in it, like,
oh my God, that's scary. That movie's scary.
Jim Carrey is the scariest clown,
dude. Like, if you haven't seen that movie in all its brilliance, and all 7 hours of it with TV commercials, you need to sit down and check that out because it's absolutely ridiculous. And to think that the first time I ever watched that movie was on ABC Family really wigs me out a little bit about what my kids are able to see now. So those would be my two.
Piggybacking off of the beach one where the guy loses his mind. Okay, so this is an old movie that people probably don't know about. It's black and white. It's with Betty Davis and forget the other girl. It's like Joan Crawford. Yeah, whatever happened to Baby Jane?
Hell yeah.
That is a good one. Oh my God. Betty Davis literally plays, if you're into method acting, you'll understand like there's like an animal, there's like this animal vibe, you do like inner and outer animal. This woman plays 3 different like personalities. Like I can't explain it, but it's so good. It's so good. Where she goes crazy and like loses her mind. Yeah, dude, so good.
She went all the way back right there.
What happened?
She went all the way back.
Yeah.
I had to because I was
There's
thinking,
a show called Feud.
I was thinking like I know more movies, but I'm not good at names. And Betty Davis is like, that is literally who I aspire. Like I've watched a lot of her old. I've watched Bon Voyage. I've watched there's like a bunch. I can't think of the names. I'm really bad at it. But like I said, Betty Davis is fire. I'm gonna look it up and see if I can see other movies.
Joe, what you got?
Well, I was just going to say there's a show called Feud that's all about the making of that movie and the feud between Betty Davis and
right.
Joan
They hated
Crawford.
each other. They hated each other.
Susan Sarandon is
Yeah,
Betty
let's put
Davis.
put that on the list for sure.
And that's a what's his name? Murphy creation. So that's a really good, the American Horror Story guy.
Old Man Murphy.
Brian Murphy. It's a really
South Bend Shovel Slayer.
Joe doesn't get that. That was a little before his time.
I said the South Bend Shovel Slayer.
Do you know who that is, Joe?
No, I don't know what that is. Damn it.
You never see that horror movie, the South Bend Shovel Slayer? It's where
Macaulay Culkin's Home Alone.
Yeah, and the guy next door is turning bodies into the salt turns the bodies into mummies.
Oh man, I don't know.
They're not getting it, bro.
That's on my list then.
Home Alone, Joe. It's Home Alone.
It's Home Alone. Okay. That's on my list.
Joe, you've seen Home Alone.
I've seen it.
You haven't seen it? Home Alone, the movie.
Home Alone and Home Alone 2, which is very scary for different reasons.
I watched Home Alone this Christmas, actually.
You did?
Yeah, it just like I didn't. There was a lot of things in there that I didn't. From childhood some scenes that I didn't remember.
So many references.
Yeah, so many things. I was like, you maybe need to go this way and that way.
Such a good movie.
I get into a character very easily.
Well, folks, we're about to wrap up this edition of Behind the Horror. We always like to wrap it up with a round table of what the actors, actresses, and directors, writers, the cast crew can say to someone who is up and coming in the independent world, maybe possibly here in Nashville, someone's working on the next great horror flick. So this is your time to get on your soapbox. We'll start with RC. RC, if you could tell somebody right now that's trying to be an up and coming actress, what advice would you give them?
Just to really love it for what it really is, and to not think of big things, to take baby steps, and to really immerse yourself in and read a lot and understand that this is art of performance and you are an artist, and yes, you can tell a story, and yes, you can share yourself anywhere, anytime. So just work hard.
Fantastic. Remi?
I guess my advice would be on the technical side, download Backstage and get it. It is the easiest way for you to find in your area, independent films, student films, whatever that you can get, on it. On artistic side, I would just say research. Whatever part you get, spend the time researching about that character. If it's a writer, research things about the writer. If she's, a darker character, try to read really dark Edgar Allan Poe poetry. But in order to really become, you should research and get to know, because nobody is going to, do it for you. And so you are the master of your own fate. Like you are literally the captain of your own ship, and you can do anything that you want if you put your mind to it. Gratitude is huge. Show love, give gratitude, and the universe will give back. That is number one of the biggest rules, like the law of attraction, that I can give you in order to do anything in your life that you want. Yeah. That's
Love
pretty
it,
much
Remy. Thank you. Joe, hit us with it. Take us home.
Yeah, I mean, I will actually ducktail off of what Remy said about, I mean, research in whatever way you want to look at that term. I just look at it like this. You got to put something in before you can spit something out. So and it's funny she mentioned Poe, because this story, I read a lot of Poe before this, and the movie opens with the Poe quote, and there's actually one of his shorter stories called Ligeia, which I kind of ripped off a lot of that plot, which is in death sentences, and it's just it's a modern version of that.
I didn't even pick that up.
Yeah, I mean, and so I would just say, like, two things. You got to put good stuff in there if you're doing horror, like read Stephen King, read like the classics, see the classic films, and then and the other thing is it's all about story, and it just comes back, I think, full circle to all the stuff we're talking about. It doesn't matter how big your budget is, what your scenario is. Like, if you have a good story, you commit it to film, it's gonna come out and people are gonna like it. And you know what? And if they don't like it, screw them.
Right.
If you think it's
Keep
a
going.
great story, just do it. There's nothing that's gonna stop you aside from yourself, and
Right.
maybe a worldwide pandemic. But even then, you can get it done, because we did.
And honestly, never quit, because you never know like what's gonna hit. I know there's so many like stories about people who are like, I got told no so many times, and then that one yes was their beginning journey,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think on that note, I think we're going to end.
I love it.
So on behalf of RC, Remy, Joe, RL, and myself, this has been episode 8 of Brown Mint Horror's Behind the Horror, and the cast and crew of Death Sentence is telling you to make sure that your library card is not expired, and to support your local libraries and keep reading horror, and support your local independent artists. Thank you guys so much, and we can't wait to see you in more stuff. So keep
Thanks,
it
guys. Y'all have a
Thank
good
you
one.
so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You guys